Well, good afternoon and welcome to PV Talks, where a community comes to converse, connect, and more importantly, grow together. I'm your host, Steve Bracety, President and CEO for your Prescott Valley Chamber of Commerce. And with me in the studio booth today, we kind of flip the tables. Usually this person is on this side of the room asking the questions. But we have Mr. Guy Roginson here, Director of Talking Glass Media. Welcome, Guy.
Thank you, buddy. How you doing? I get to be the quiet one today.
You get to be the quiet one just
hope.
for a short period because I have a lot of questions for you.
Cool.
So you are the consummate storyteller. You are with Talking Glass Media. Tell me, how did this all come about?
So, great question. We were created by the Fane Signature Group in 2017 was when we were planning it. And we were just kind of tired of the divisiveness and the negativity, social media, the news, all that. And we wanted a place for people to go that shared about the good things happening in Central Arizona and the Prescott Valley region, the events. This gets people out. So our ethos is really building community. That's what Talking Glass Media is all about. That's what our parent company is all about. We're proud to be a part of the Fane Signature Group of companies. And how do we make a better life for all? That's really our mission. And that's done through storytelling, good news, events, more solutions. We're going to get into more education, and that's what we're all about.
Basically telling the good things happen in our great community. And there's a lot.
There's a lot. And unfortunately, we're all programmed to chase the bad news. It's where our that fight or flight when we're scrolling.
It bleeds, it leads, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So when Brad came to me and he said, "Hey, but your one caveat, it's got to be all good news." And having some experience from a previous news company I was involved with, I knew that would be a challenge, but I didn't know how it would go. Fast forward 7-8 years later, we've really found our niche we're great at events. People want to know what's going on. We have probably the leading events newsletter and calendar online in the region. And the good news, people do want to know the good stuff that's happening and becoming a solution for our businesses. We're in partnership with businesses. We don't want advertisers. We want partners that want to share their story. So being a publisher of a news company and then being a podcast network, these are all platforms for people to share their story. And if they want to market or advertise, great. But we want people to come into our podcast network with Alicia, sit down and tell your story.
Right.
And from that, we're really good at divvying that up into different types of media, whether it's a written story, a video, a reel, a podcast. That's what we do.
You use many different platforms. Huh?
As many platforms as possible. We hit them all to get the good news out. You can always take a challenge and turn it into a good news story. Mm-hmm. What's the solution? That's what we do.
Well, we do need more of the positives in this community, which is great.
Right.
Tell me, how did you pick the name Talking Glass Media? It's quite unique.
It's kind of a circuitous story, but long story short, it really comes from, if you look at Glassford Hill, back in the day, they were using heliographs to share with the region, really the U.S. Army, what was going on in Colonel Glassford. That whole system was one of the largest networks of heliographs in the country at the time, just before the telegraph. So it's really a network of mirrors and Morse code. And then from that, the telegraph came. Right. And so you didn't really hear a lot about heliographs because they didn't last very long, I don't think. But Talking Glass Media, if you look at what do we do today, we've got our phones. Mm-hmm. We've got our Gorilla Glass on it. It talks to us now. Oh, it shares stories.
What's this?
So Signals is a part of that, signalsaz.com. The mirrors, the signals going out, Talking Glass Media, sharing those good stories and those events online and providing solutions. So that's where Talking Glass Media came from.
All kind of comes together.
It's all a story.
So you started in 2017, I believe, correct?
We started
Thereabouts?
planning in 2017, and we launched our first platform, signalsaz.com. And I was just looking at that last night. On the back end of the website is the date when signalsaz.com was launched, was really in March of 2018.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you know today that you wish you knew back in 2017, 2018 before your launch?
Well, hindsight's 2020, right? There were so many gifts to the market, so I don't know if there was any one bad thing. We had certain news companies go to a paid model to read the news, which we are not. We're all 100% free and available to the public at any time. COVID was a happy accident for us, for every digital news publisher for that matter. We watched our traffic increase by 30%, and that hasn't changed. That continues to grow. We were already dabbling. Brad Fain and I were already doing podcasts when I was with another company, and that was in like 2015, 16. And that was a little too early because the technology's in our cars now, and how, when you get in a car now, it just marries to your phone.
Exactly.
You got your playlists.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's really when we saw podcasting take off. And that was only a few years ago. That has really grown. I just didn't know it was going to hit. We learned in the past few years it's really hitting. Hence, we launched cast11.com, which is now the region's only, I think, and largest podcast network. We got over 21 shows doing over 500,000 listens and growing. When we brought in Tony and we said, okay, let's implement some technology and equipment in the studios. The AI, it's another gift from the market. I know people are concerned about that, but from a production standpoint, we probably doubled our traffic just by using technology, keeping our same people. Nobody got laid off.
That's
they all
awesome.
got more work.
That's probably the most important thing.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's wishing for something that I didn't know. It was more or less learning to be very nimble over the past 8 years with the changes. We have flipped this company a couple of times, and just recently, I would say the last month and a half, we flipped it again. Our business model now is completely different, and a lot of that is because of AI, and a lot of it is also because of streaming.
Well, you're evolving.
We're evolving.
Moving
our good people up, the people that we've had in here for years, that we've invested in that are showing up. We're moving them up into different positions with the technology. So it's not so much wishing I knew, it's learning that we got to move very fast.
You got to be able to be flexible and be able to pivot as technology gets better. I mean, changes for the better, basically. How do you adapt to that essentially?
Right. And so what we're learning in-house and what we're implementing in our efficiencies, we're now sharing with our clients to apply it to their operations. So if somebody wants to know how to improve with their operations, we can sit down with them and share, well, here's what we've done. Here's what we can help you implement. We hired a full-time AI innovations manager.
Oh, nice.
And he goes back and forth between AI, but also some web-based initiatives. They're kind of together. We are already publishing stories using AI, not AI-generated stories, but we get anywhere from 10 to 50 press releases and stories a day. And we have to curate and figure out what's most relevant to the community.
Well, let's touch on that. How do you determine that? How do you determine the content for your platforms that this is what's important?
Good question, right? You have to look at the analytics, and what we find are what we call affinity interests. What are people most interested in this region? And it's based on readership, right? You just look at what people are reading and what they want to click on. And part of that is events. Events, traffic, lifestyle, weather, quality of life, retail. These are all things that affect their lives. And then once we know what these interests are, and there's a lot, right? There's a world for everything, whether you ride motorcycles or you craft, right? Mm-hmm. And so we build databases on those and create newsletters for those interests. And then once we know that, we know what to curate. There's just some stories out there that they're great stories. They're not for this region. Doesn't make them bad stories. They're just not for this region. And then what we've been able to do is create programs that look at those emails, curate them, and actually put them in the back end of our website automatically via AI. Before I called it sandbagging, where our people were lifting, they were copying and pasting, and that was part of the industry. Every publisher does that. Whether you're creating a story from scratch or you're taking a local press release, you've got to put it into the system and publish it. Now we can take out a lot of that sandbagging, I call it heavy lifting and tasky work, and it allows people to be more involved with the important work of relevancy, relationships, revenue, those types of things. So that the technology has allowed us to automate a lot of the tasky work to get into more of the relationship issues and find out, what do you need? Mm-hmm. What is your business struggling with, and how can we help you?
Right. You know, Guy, there's a platform called Nextdoor. Mm-hmm. I'm hesitant to go on it anymore because it's so ugly and it's getting so negative. Yeah. How do you tell a different message or get your message to offset the negativity that's on there about our great town?
Well,
is it just consistency?
Yeah. So as we already stated, the reason why we were created is exactly that. It was before Nextdoor. Nextdoor, God bless them, they've actually been trying to counterbalance that. They created a program for publishers to publish directly to Nextdoor, much like Facebook or whatever, which I give them credit for, but it's the individuals themselves that are responsible for the negativity that are using it. How do you counterbalance is you just keep publishing good stuff. We've never changed or deviated from our ethos and our vision of stay positive. What are the solutions? Work from the angle of abundance and not pain. It's passion, not pain.
Right.
How do we create solutions for water? How do we create solutions for crime? There's an abundance of solutions. We have to focus on that, because a no and a can't and I won't solve any of those challenges.
True.
And that's kind of what we're based in.
True. It's easy to lob bombs out there without any answers on how to fix it, basically.
Nope.
Anyone can do that.
Anyone can do that. That's the easy part. The hard part is what is the solution? And so now we're starting to see organizations like Grit.work and others coming out that are created by business owners, entrepreneurs, problem solvers to do exactly that. Not focus on the no, but focus on the how, the why, and when we're going to get it done.
Perfect. Let's talk about you a little bit. I did a little stalking on you a little bit.
All right.
Now, you're a pilot?
I was. Well, I haven't flown in a long time.
Oh, boy. Okay.
But I got my certificate back in 2002.
Oh, wow. It's been a while.
2002, 2004. Yeah.
Well, we're not going to go flying anytime soon.
No, I haven't. If I went out and did my I have to. They call it shaking off the rust. Mm-hmm. I'd have to go out. I'd probably have to spend, for me personally, to be comfortable, about another 10 hours of flight time with a CFI just to shake off the rust and get current.
And then you're a diver too, right?
I got my open water certificate when I was 14, and it wasn't one of those, holiday resort classes. It was a 3-month-long class. It was NAUI certification. I just happened to have a store at a school between my house and my dad's office at the time. And I said, I want to do that because back in the day, you remember Jacques Cousteau?
Of course. Grew up on Jacques Cousteau.
The French guy.
Coolest guy ever.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Just fell in love with it. And me and a buddy of mine decided to do that. It was that and flying really opened my world to realizing as a young person, I could do anything if I put my mind to it. And that's what I would, encourage young people is try the hard things, try the things that you don't think you'll be able to do. Diving at night or going to Aruba or the Caymans and being down 100 feet. It's just a different world. It's just like flying. And flying actually opened me up to what I'm doing today, believe it or not. That's where my story started with being in publishing, was really flying.
Yeah. Gives you a sense of stillness and calm.
It's like motorcycle riding. You're very busy paying attention and staying ahead of the plane or the motorcycle, so much so you don't think about anything else. And so it's relaxing.
No squirrel moments,
No squirrel moments. And then when you're done, because you have been working so hard, whether again, you're on a motorcycle or flying or even diving, that you're tired afterwards, but you're relaxed. So challenging things like that always seem to be attractive to me because I know that I'm just going to be really in the moment.
Perfect. I have a psychological question I typically ask my guests. I thought I ask you there's no right or wrong answer, just to get your train of thought. You go with that?
Sure.
All right. Let's say you can either look forward into the future as to what's going to happen or go back in your past and change some things. What would you do?
Ooh. Well, with everything that's going on today, it's tempting to say go into the future because maybe then I could help prevent some of the things that happened in the past that may repeat themselves. But then you could go back in the past and do the same thing. So it's a bit of a tie. I'm torn. I'm probably more the person I'd say go in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you had the ability to either play every musical instrument or know every foreign language, what would you choose and why?
Drums.
Drums?
Yeah.
You could choose any instrument.
Drums.
Drums?
Yeah.
A favorite drummer?
A bottom.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Right. Easy.
Paul, yeah.
Right.
No brainer.
One of the many. Yep.
So, Guy, if there's someone out there in our viewership that wants to hire your services, how would they get a hold of you?
Sure. You can go to signalsaz.com and contact us. You can go to talkingglass.media and contact us. And then Tony, he can throw up the phone number on the screen and call Jessica, whether you just want to share your story and come into the podcast studios. We invite anybody that's got a great why in terms of what they're doing. Come on into the cast11.com podcast studios. We'll put that phone number up to call Jessica to get scheduled. We've got a great podcast schedule, which is getting filled. And share your story.
Perfect. Guy Roginson, consummate storyteller. That should be your title, by the way.
Everything is a story.
Everything's a story. I love it.
Thanks, Steve.
My pleasure. Until next time, folks, thanks for tuning in to PV Talks. Continue to shop local and stay inspired, Prescott Valley.